How about a highlight reel? Hello, and welcome to OnSite with Matt Cheney, a collection of short videos following me throughout metropolitan Washington to the neighborhoods I serve as a realtor. Hello, welcome to OnSite with Matt Cheney. This is the first episode of a ongoing series of shows where I will travel around the DC metropolitan area and introduce you to communities that I serve. So those of you who don't know Foggy Bottom, it's located in a historic area in downtown DC and in great proximity to neighborhoods such as Georgetown, the West End, and also is great proximity to the National Mall and the Kennedy Center. Today we're in the West End neighborhood of Washington, DC, so that's the zip code 20037. If you saw my previous episode where we were in Foggy Bottom, we were actually in the same zip code. So just to give you some kind of reference points, K Street here in DC kind of cuts this neighborhood or the zip code in half, the southern part being Foggy Bottom and the northern part being the West End. But first I want to give you a fun fact. DC, or Georgetown, predates DC. It was founded in 1751 by the province of Maryland. There were two gentlemen by the name of George who had a trading post just off the Potomac River, and so it was named Georgetown. Though some people like to point out that the King of England at that time's name was George as well. So I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not Georgetown was named after the two Georges or the King of England. Fast forward a couple of years and then we have George Washington, or another George. He surveyed the land here along the Potomac River and thought it would make a great location for the future nation's capital. The state of Maryland at that point donated a big piece of land to become the District of Columbia that eventually became Washington, DC, and within that was Georgetown. So if you're looking for historic charm or you're looking for historic homes or kind of that colonial feel, Georgetown has that. So it's very much representative of kind of the older neighborhoods within the DC metropolitan area. Today we're in the Palisades. Today we're in Chevy Chase, Maryland. For those of you from outside the DC metropolitan area, no, Chevy Chase is not named after the actor, though it's very possible he did get his nickname after the community here. Today we're in Logan, DC. Logan is a neighborhood or a residential neighborhood not far from downtown DC. And funny enough, when you look it up in the tax records, it often comes up as Old City 2. Today we're in Rosslyn, Virginia. Often called the Gateway of Arlington, Rosslyn, Virginia is probably the closest place in Arlington or Virginia that is to Washington, DC. It's connected to DC by Key Bridge. Key Bridge actually connects over to where Francis Scott Key actually used to have his house in Georgetown many years ago. Today we're in Bethesda, Maryland, my hometown. I want to cover the past year of sales for houses and townhouses here in Alexandria. There were 1,370 to be exact, with the average sales price being $789,000 and the average days of market being 33. The most expensive house to sell here in Alexandria during that time period was here on Lee Street in the southeast quadrant of Old Town. It was a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom home with approximately 4,000 square feet, and it was a 19th century historic Italianate gem that had a center hall floor plan. Cleveland Park is a residential neighborhood located just up the hill from downtown DC. It was once home to, you guessed it, President Grover Cleveland. In its early days, Cleveland Park was home to Washington's summer estates because of its higher elevation and cooler temperatures during the summer. There are two major retail corridors here in Capitol Hill, one on Pennsylvania Avenue, where you can find the Eastern Market, and then here on 8th Street, or Barracks Row, where you can find such well-known restaurants as Pineapple and Pearls and Rose's Luxury. AU Park and Spring Valley have mirroring storefronts on opposite sides of Massachusetts Avenue from each other, with AU Park having Waxhaw's Delicatessen, which is definitely destination worthy, and Millie's Restaurant being a great spot for a casual meal with friends and family. Kalorama Heights has become very popular with the who's who of Washington, with its elegant townhomes and grand residences. Hey Arlington, Amazon loves you! Now for some real estate. We're going to talk about the sales for the western side of the zip code 20007. Obviously, Georgetown being the eastern side of the zip code is not a bad thing. The neighborhood's also really close to downtown Bethesda, giving its residents great access to shops and restaurants. Talk about a location. McLean is well known for being home to business owners, heirs, royals, the who's who of America, even the world. The Kennedys even called it home when they enjoyed Hickory Hill. If you're looking for that quiet retreat just outside the nation's capital and you want a large home and expansive lawns, guess what? You can find it here in Potomac. Okay, so I'm a bit of a history buff and I want to get a lot of information in, but this is a highest elevation or a higher elevation in DC. So there's a lot of broadcast companies that called this originally their home for the DC metropolitan area. This is Mr. Ward. He was the main general of the Continental Army before George Washington. There used to be a house here called Westover, that it was a country estate that had great views of the city and the surrounding area. And it's also home to American University, well known for one of John F. Kennedy's well-known speeches, and also George Bush Sr. also used to come here and run around the track. Is it the Spartans? Maybe the Wildcats. How about Mighty Moo? Watch out, it's the big train coming. Thank you for joining us today for episode 22 of OnSite with Matt Cheney. We look forward to creating more videos for you over the next couple of months and years to come. And remember, be safe and be well. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe.